Welcome back. I'm Steve Judge, and this is Songkla Rajaput MOOC for English for the Workplace, and this is video 2 on presentations. We are going to continue with the body. Now, the main point, the body should be organized into 4 or less main points. It's and then I'm going to give you some language to show you how to transition into and out of each section or each main point. So why 4 or less main points? Research on presentations has shown that 4 or more main points is too complicated for most audiences to follow and along and remember. They lose interest, they forget. So professionals recommend that you only make it with 4 or less. 3 is the magic number, but 4 or less main points. So my example that I want to use today is, let's talk about a presentation where you want to explain why everyone should visit Thailand. And my 4 reasons why are: 1, the people; 2, the food; 3, the geography; and 4, the price. So these are main arguments why everyone, and in a presentation you would give information about each topic. So we're going to use these ideas as an example. Now let's look in at transitioning into and out of each point. So here we have our phrases on the left and what they do or when to use them. And these are transitional phrases to go into and out of each point. So going into the first point, and only the first point, we have 3 phrases. Let's start by looking at, to begin, I'd like to, and let's start with. So that is the first phrase, the first point. Now, to finish any point, we have 6 phrases for you to choose from. Again, you don't want to use the same one each time, so you're choosing different ones. It will be very good. Here, so our phrases are: I've told you about, we've looked at. Any questions so far? So if you're using questions during the presentation, that one is useful. Before going on, I'd like to, and then before you make your last point on a point. That's all I want to say about, and then let's stop there. And then when you're starting a new point, you can say, let me now turn to, let's move on to. If you take a look at my next slide, you'll see, and now, and moving along to. So these are all the phrases. Let's look how to use them in our presentation. So our example of a presentation talking about the 4 reasons why everyone should visit Thailand: the people, the food, the geography, the price. So the very first point I'm going to use, let's start with the people. And I'm going to end that main point with saying, That's all I want to say about the people. Let's move on to the food. The food is delicious. It has all the 7 flavors. It's fantastic. Sweet, sour, spicy, amazing. I've told you about the food. Now, if you take a look at my next slide, you'll see the geography. And maybe it's a picture of a beach or the mountains, whatever it is, but I'm pointing out a picture. I can end the geography with any questions so far. Maybe some people have questions, maybe they don't. Now, let me turn to the price. And then when I finish talking about the price, I say, okay, let's stop there. And that's how you use the phrases to introduce and transition into and out of all the main points. Notice how they're usually, so the transition out of at the end is also combined with a transition. So we'll do, let's start with the people. That's all I wanted to say about the people. Let's move on to the food. So they're usually used together to get out of and into new main points. Let's move on. So there's also something that I've been doing a lot during my presentation here is using transition indicators. And these are natural sounds that people make before making a change or indicate that they're going to make a change. So they're words like so, right, okay, now. These are common words that people make during a presentation. Good presenters use them in moderation, which means just a little bit. I probably use them a little too much, but they are very useful to indicate when someone's making a transition. Now you can see the examples, the phrases from before used with the phrases in the sentences. So, any questions so far? Right. Moving on to conclusions. Okay, now let me turn to, you can use these small transition indicators along with the transitional phrases that we talked about before. Now, that is the body. So in the body, you want to organize it into 4, maximum of 4 main sections, and plan your transitional phrases to transition in and out of each section. And you don't want a repetition, so you want to think ahead and plan how you are going to do it. Now, that is what you should do for the body of your presentation. This is the end of this video. Please continue on to our next video, the conclusion. My name is Steve Judge. Thank you and have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.